don't be upset with the results you didn't get from the work you didn't do. Don't expect my results. I hate when people expect my results with work you didn't do.
Type shit.
So this shit ain't microwaved, okay? This shit ain't microwaved. I cook this shit on a cast iron skillet, okay? So delayed gratification versus authentic growth. That's what we're talking about today. So that microwave mindset is instant gratification, impatience, wanting success without mastery. But then that cast iron mindset, okay, it's that slow cooked stuff, that consistency, that patience, that learning through heat and time. You don't just throw it in there, microwave, fuck it all up. Nah, this is that good stuff. That's stuff you cook on the stove, baby.
So let me tell you guys the issue that I see a lot with a lot of guys, right? They're always wanting the fruit before the root, right? We all know that apple tree, it takes 9 years for the roots, 7 to 9 years for the roots to actually, the foundation to be built underground. And then you actually start to see the fruits when it rises up the ground. You know, it happens almost instantaneously, right? But you spent those 7 to 9 years getting the base. You spent those 7 to 9 years building that up, right? But a lot of people want the fruit before they're on the root, right? People will be like, yeah, man, I want your results, but I want it in 4 months. It's like, I've been failing, right, for 10 years. I've been experimenting for 10 years. I've been locked in for 5 of those 10 years on my nutrition, on my workouts. People want to do a diet and get the results. People want to do Ozempic and get the results. It's not going to fucking happen. Muscle building, fat loss takes time, right? So does financial freedom. So does entrepreneurship. All that stuff takes time. You are not getting that shit overnight. All right. A lot of people get excited. They get motivated from what they see. Motivation is going to go away. All right. You need to really want something. Write down the vision, be intentional, and that's how you're going to get there.
For sure. So the problem that a lot of people are experiencing is they want that instant gratification, and it's not necessarily their fault all the time. What it is it's social media, right? But you fall into that trap of, look at all this glamorous things. Look at the car, look at the girls, look at the house, look at the watch, right? You're seeing all of the cool stuff, right? But it's hiding, what they're doing is they're hiding the boring parts, the reps that you put in, the late nights, the losses. So this comes in even with trading. And when I tell people don't expect my results, because I literally spend more hours on the charts than anyone I have ever seen. I'm on the charts all day. I'm on the charts at night. When I go live, it's only 2 hours of the day. I go live for my team. I go live for my Discord. They only see 2 hours of what I do. And then the rest of the night, I'm charting, I'm marking levels, I'm reading all these different books. And then I take a trade and I'm like, oh yeah, cool. I just made $2,000. Someone else is like, man, I only made 50. Like, dang, man, dang. I'm like, you can't expect my results if you didn't put in the work. You're literally just showing up for a live session for 20 minutes and I'm making that in 20 minutes. But actually, all those hours I put in is what caused that event to happen. So if you didn't pay the price, you can't cash the check. All right. You can't cash the check.
Amen. But that's why integrity is so important, because what you're doing, no one's looking. Everything that you're doing, no one's looking. That's how you get results. A lot of people, they go to the gym, right? They put in the work. As soon as they leave, they go to Wingstop, right? That's why they look the way they look. But then me, I'm doing what I need to do in the kitchen. So then they'll see the results and be like, oh, how'd you get there? What's the secret? Because they see my workout shorter than theirs, right? But I also call this the Ben Simmons effects is what I call it, right? By the time you get to the season, you can't prepare. Like you're going from game to game, right? You have a game every 2 days. So you're going to be exposed if you didn't lock in during the offseason, if you didn't work on your shot. That's what happens every year with Ben Simmons, right? He couldn't shoot the ball, but he didn't work on it in the offseason. They said, hey, man, he struggles to shoot, right? All he does is layup. So they blocked off the layup lane and they gave him wide open threes, but he couldn't shoot, so he never shot. So then the next year, it was the same thing. He never worked on that. If you never work on what matters when no one's looking, you're not going to have the results that inspire others. You're not going to have the results that you want yourself, right? It's that simple. A lot of people don't understand that. They think everything's just overnight. And like I said, the social media effect, you guys see the best part of stuff on social media. You don't see the boring reps that you put in every day, right? Because best believe, even when Kobe got better at free throw percentage, right? He was shooting in the gym when no one was there, right? They didn't start to shine light on it until he won the championships. But he was doing that the whole time. That's how he got there. Tom Brady, same way, right? Winning, it's a winner's mindset. If you want to win, you have to do what no one else is willing to do, all right, no matter how you feel. And integrity is all about doing what you have to do long after the mood leaves you, all right? You feel like shit, you still got to wake up and do what you need to do. You guys do it for work, and you guys always complain about, oh my God, I can't hit the gym, I can't eat right. But you go to work, you drive 1 hour to work, and you don't feel like working, but you still do it because you made it part of your identity, but also you know the results that you get from it, right?
Yeah. So again, you can't expect someone else's results. So a lot of people, again, what a lot of people are doing is they're microwaving some hungry man. They're microwaving some Chef Boyardee.
Bro, I hate fucking hungry man, bro.
Yo, you're microwaving some Chef Boyardee, some Hot Pockets, right? And you're like, dang, like doesn't it taste as good as what he's doing, what Fit's doing, as what Luther Vandross is doing. Maybe it's Luther V Fitness. It doesn't, it's not as good as those results. What's going on? Well, what you did was a 2-minute meal, all right? You didn't put in all the seasoning, all right? You can't compare that microwave meal to this Michelin restaurant cast iron meal. Do you know where this meat was cooked? Pause.
Hey, yo. Hey, hold on. This is a good point, but I wanted to say, because I remember my best friend, his dad's from Brazil, right? So he goes to Brazil every year and they do like a wine event. And he brought back some wine. And it was like aged from like 1940 or some shit. And I'm like, yeah, I love red wine, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, no, you have never had red wine before. I was like, oh, I did at the restaurant. He's like, no, that's some fucking bullshit wine. This is real wine. And I was like, what is he talking about? So I had that fucking wine from like 1940, the aged wine, right? Years and years and years. It was like 2016, and that was 1941. The taste difference was insane. It was higher quality. It was aged perfectly. Same thing with aged steak, right? You can't get the same results if you literally have 2025 wine. It's not going to be the same as 1942, 1941, right?
Because again, everyone has a different recipe. Everyone has different timing, different seasoning. So comparing the two, you can't compare the two. You're literally only seeing the end results. So that, and that brings me to another point, which is that comparison is the thief of focus, and it's also the thief of joy. So if you're always comparing yourself online to someone who's doing wonderful things, getting all these great things, it's going to lead you into stagnation. You're always going to be trying to take that shortcut and looking for that shortcut. And at the end of the day, all that time you spend looking for the shortcut, that fast abs routine, you're literally wasting the time that you could have spent actually starting the process and falling in love with the actual process, rather than comparing yourself like, oh man, he has abs. All right, let me check back tomorrow. You check again. Oh, he has abs. And I tell people this is just like that, the farmer that could never grow a tree. So literally he plants a seed. All right. He plants a seed into the ground and he's like, all right, I'm going to check tomorrow to see if it grew roots and sprouted into this big tree. He goes back to the garden. He sees nothing. So he digs up the seed. Oh man, where is it? And the seed is still there. He's like, oh, okay. He puts it back into the dirt. He waters it. Next day, he's like, I'm going to check again. He digs up the seed again. He does this every single day for 7 years. Nothing grows. Nothing grows because he's always digging back up the seed and not allowing that process to take place. All right.
Exactly.
Again, it's not a microwave.
That's what people struggle with when it comes to this fat loss versus weight loss. If you want to be aesthetic, by the way, I just had a client, it should be in the community post by now. But I just had a client lost 7% body fat, only 2 pounds though. You guys focus on weight loss instead of fat loss. Fat loss is going to be more important when it comes to aesthetics. All right. You want to get your body fat percentage down and build muscle. That's a whole completely different process than just losing weight. If you want to lose weight fast, you're going to keep changing the inputs, right? So for example, if you're like, you know what, I'm going to be in a 500 calorie deficit. You do that for a week. You lose 1 pound, then you go on TikTok and you see someone lost 10 pounds in a week. You're gonna be like, oh, I need to change my inputs. Then you go and you do keto. Now you lost 5 pounds in that week. However, it's muscle, right? Because you lack that patience, you can never get the end result that you want. And the longest route to your goals is doing a bunch of shortcuts. Because guess what? You're gonna continually be back at square one. But if you do what works and you stay consistent, right? And you actually trust the process, that's going to be the fastest route to your goal, right? You're going in a straight line instead of going left and going right. It's literally like you're driving to your destination, right? You're driving, you have about 40 miles to go. And then on the highway, on the sign, you see big booty bitches. So then you go into the exit and then you just stay there and you're like, oh shit, man, this is what's up. You're getting distracted. Stay focused on the route, all right? A lot of people have the shiny object syndrome. They get focused on too many things at once and then they don't do what actually works. And then they come to me with some questions and I'm like, okay, these are interesting questions, but none of this has to do with what you want. You want to look lean, lift weights. You don't have to do HIIT cardio. Lift weights, eat better. You don't have to starve yourself. It's really not that deep. It's very, very simple, very straightforward.
Yeah, and that's the recipe. That's the recipe of real results. You hit the hammer on the nail. Like, it's about consistency, showing up when you don't even feel like it. You got to reflect on what you're actually doing too. You got to journal. You got to really analyze the results of what you're doing. Those shortcuts. If you actually wrote down like, hey, okay, what did I do and why am I still not there? You wrote down what you did. You're like, oh, obviously I just try to take this stupid shortcut, and I'm not doing what this person is doing. And that's why you do need role models. You can sign up for these discords, or reach out to the people who you aspire to be like. And if you can't reach out to them, then read some of their material, read about what they're doing and their mindset, because that's going to be the recipe. That's the recipe. The recipe is out there. Like nowadays, it's so easy to become successful because of social media. Because not only do you see like the results all the time, but you can actually follow people and see what are they talking about.
You can model after them.
Model after them. Yeah, take that mindset. And what people always call is fake it till you make it, or be delusional. But what you're actually doing is you're becoming that person. And to have the things that you want, you're gonna have to be the person that you aspire to be, and then do the things, which is one of the most important parts. Be the person, then do the things that person is doing, and then you're gonna have everything. Automatically, you're gonna have everything that they have. You're gonna have the cars, you're gonna have the girls, you're gonna have the house, you're gonna have the chains, the
Speaking of that,
everything.
That's what I wanted to say with the other, when you're talking about the microwave stuff. So like a lot of people spend 10 to 15 to 20 years. Like, and I see my high school classmates. I'm pretty sure you see some high school classmates on Facebook too. But I see them, they're eating a bunch of bullshit. They're not paying attention to what they eat. They're drinking a bunch of liquor, skipping the gym, right? They're doing that for 10 years. So they're gaining one pound every month or 1 pound every 2 months. For 10 years, that's going to be 60 to 120 pounds, right? If they do that for 10 years straight, right? So that's what most people gain. And then they literally, they're like, oh my gosh, I need to lose fat. And then they try to change. Notice I said try. They try to change for 1 month. They're at a very good pace, a faster pace than I ever lost fat before, right? They lost 4 pounds. They gained some muscle, right? And then they're losing fat around the waist, but they're like, oh my gosh, man, I still got a long way to go. I'm not there. And then they quit again, right? The problem is they want the results, and they want the results too fast. You have to become that person, right? Because here's the thing. If you were to add 100 to 200 pounds of fat on me right now, I wouldn't worry about it. I'd do the same shit I'm doing right now, because I'm currently at my 10% body fat self. I'm doing everything that I need to do to be here. So if you put 100 pounds of fat on me, I'm not going to panic. I'm going to do exactly what I'm doing. And guess what? I'm going to be right back here, right? That's the difference. A lot of people, they're trying to do different things in the same mindset that they currently have, right? And you're never going to be able to completely do that. That's why people be on a call with me and they'll say stuff like, yeah, man, I accidentally got lean one time, right? So they got lean doing some kind of fad because they didn't want to change their instant gratification mindset, but they wanted long-term results, right? So they might get the weight number, but they're not going to have the muscle mass because that takes time. They might not get the body fat number because that takes time, right? So then they'll revert back to the old habits because they're still in their same mindset. They're still in the fattest version of themselves. You got to become the leanest version of yourself mentally first. That's number one. And then, yeah, the chicks will come and stuff like that. A lot of people will ask like, oh, when did the chicks and when did the chicks? Listen, you don't even worry about that when you like people who don't have something like, obviously, if you're hungry at a feast, you're going to eat everything, right? That's how a lot of you guys are when it comes to chicks. You're like, oh my God, I want. But once you've ate before you go to the feast, you're not really hungry. You're not trying to eat anything because you've already had something. You know what I'm saying? You're not worried about it. So that abundance mindset comes from doing the work. All right. Like he said, online right now, there's so many things that you can watch, right? There's so many things that you could do. And a lot of people, right? I see them commenting on multiple people's videos, self-improvement videos. They don't put in any of the work. So they're just watching shit and not putting in the work, right? They're just I call it beating your meat. Analysis paralysis. No, it's called meat beating, bro. You're just wasting your time. When in reality, if you just do the basics. I know some dude from, since high school, all he does is eat chicken and rice. That's all he knows how to fucking do. That's all he knows. He knows chicken and rice and lift weights. He doesn't know what he's doing, right? But he's like, you know what? I look lean when I keep the meals simple and I work out. So that's what he continually does. And that's why he stays lean, right? Because he's doing the work. If most people ate chicken and rice instead of all that other goofy shit they eat, like crumble cookie and stuff like that, the line's always long, then they would be lean.
100%, 100%. I like how you said, like, the analogy of someone who is eating bad for 10 years and they're gaining that weight little by little. Because in essence, they're doing the exact thing that you should be doing, but just the opposite. So sometimes people say, like, if you're trading or even if you're working out, right, or you're eating bad, whatever you're doing, if you're failing, sometimes doing the opposite is what you need to do, but you can't do that without reflection. But essentially, for 10 years, you're consistently, okay, you have the habits of consistently doing something, but you're doing the wrong thing consistently. You're consistently eating to gain you all that weight. So now you're gonna have to consistently do the opposite thing. Cut your calories, right? If you're trading, you're sizing in too much every day, and then you're blowing accounts. Take smaller trades. It's literally doing the opposite is sometimes the key to success. And again, it's always going to be about that consistency. But what is consistency actually? It goes back to being the person. So if you're someone who is a gym head, then what does that mean? Oh, well, that person goes to the gym all the time. If you're someone who's a couch potato, oh, well, that person sits on the couch all the time. So it's all about who you're being. So before that person that was 10 years gaining weight, you're probably a couch potato. So consistently, that's who you are being. That's why it was such a long period of time, right?
Preach.
So as soon as you flip into the, okay, I'm getting lean, don't focus on that. Focus on who am I being and what am I doing? Because at the end of the day, you're gonna have it. You're gonna have the lean body. You're gonna have the things that you want if you just focus on just being the person and doing the things. So taking the action. So again, you do get that analysis paralysis. You get stuck when you're always thinking about shortcutting and jumping to that end result. Just if you're only focused on the result, you're going to miss out on the actual fun of the process. Something that Alan Watts said, and I learned this in the consciousness classes. There's a video, and it literally made a lot of people cry. People were like, "Dang!" Like it was a short 2-minute video, and Alan Watts is just kind of describing how life works and how short life actually is. He says life is kind of like an ensemble or a concert. You go to a concert, and if you went to the concert, and all that we wanted to do at that concert, we go to that concert, everyone sits down, the conductor raises his hands, and then they crash the cymbals, and that was it. Then what would be the point of going to the concert? That's what everyone is expecting. You're expecting the results. What's the result of a concert? You hear crashing cymbals at the end. But what's actually happening when you really go to a concert is you need to be excited to listen to the music that's in between. So life is like a concert. You have to enjoy the process of life. You have to enjoy the music that's playing for those minutes because it's going to be over. And when it's over, the worst part is the crashing cymbals at the end.
Yeah, we're about to quote some Dan Martell here. So this is a great point because here's the thing. Like a lot of people currently hate their lives or they say stuff like, hey, man, when I get to 10% body fat, I love myself or whatever. That means you're robbing your current self, right, of happiness. But a lot of people work jobs that they hate and they're waiting to retire to enjoy life. That means that what they're doing is not sustainable and they don't love it. Because if you're passionate about it, you wouldn't be thinking about an end date, right? You wouldn't be like, oh my gosh, I need to get, I need to hurry up and retire. I need to hurry up and retire so I can enjoy life. When you're 65 and you have arthrosclerosis and you have fucking diabetes and stuff, you're not going to enjoy life, right? We have high stress, you have high cortisol, you're not going to enjoy life, right? You have to enjoy the entire process. And it's the same way with the keto stuff. People who love carbs, they are the ones that always want to do keto the most. I'm like, bro, do you see me doing keto? No, because I used to eat a bunch of Haitian rice when I was younger. I'm not going to touch keto. And you don't need to unless you're trying to get to 5%, and you're at 10%. And you just want to kind of speed up the process and you have the discipline. But people who are 20+% body fat in my comment section will even say like, no, keto worked for me. Anything works for you. You could eat cookies every day. You're 400 fucking pounds or 300 pounds. It's just you eating less. All right. And you do have to enjoy the process. So during the process, stop thinking about the end day. Like, okay, if I do this for 3 more days. No. Me, I never say if I do this for 4 more days. I don't do that. I'm like, okay, it's just what I'm doing for life. It's just natural. That's why when people ask me questions or when they watch me, they're like, hey man, you're kind of lazy, bro. Like that's all you do. You're not, oh, you're gonna do a second workout later where you do cardio, right? I'm like, no. They're like, what the fuck? But I do it every day, so I'm so consistent, right? Because when it comes 5 days a week of working out, 1 hour a day, right? Consistently all year, not skipping a week. It's just impossible to skip a week. I don't care if I have COVID. I just work out in the garage or I work out outside. But 5 days a week for 52 weeks, the math on that is like 254 days or some shit, right? Versus people who go super hard during January, they go, every single day, twice a day for 14 days. So 28 sessions the whole year. That's what most people have. And when I worked in the gym, I saw that too. Everyone had attendance in January and then it sporadically went away. Some came back in December and they're like, why am I not getting results? You're not putting in the same amount of work I am. Now, the work I put on January 1st is less than probably 90% of people on January 1st. But the fact that I'm still going February, March, April, all the way through December is what gives me the long-term results.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. I was thinking about how we were talking about like everyone always trying to find those shortcuts and what's the best method? Is it the keto? Is it the paleo diet? Is it fasting?
Goofy shit, bro.
Just like it is really goofy stuff. So everything in life has direct correlation. So this correlates really well with like what I do on my channel too. Not only fitness, mentally, spiritually, physically, financially, but with trading too. And this is what's happening with a lot of traders too, and I've noticed in a lot of traders I mentor. And what happened to me in the beginning was I was like, okay, what actually what works? What works? Is it the SMC? Is it the ICT? Is it this? Is it that? And then you're tuning into all these different pages, and there's people who are they're literally running in this hamster wheel. You're running in a hamster wheel as opposed to get off the hamster wheel and go actually explore and learn your surroundings instead of running on this hamster wheel. What's happening is people are like turning it on this TikTok page and like, oh, I got to pay attention to what this guy says. And then that guy's wrong one time. They're like, all right, well, I got to pay attention. Instead of actually going and reading the things for themselves. So people usually tune into my TikToks where I make very accurate predictions about market moves. And people are like, yo, how do you get this? How do you get this level? How do you do this? How do you do that? I'm like, I literally just read these. I read these 3 books and I pinned stuff. I read these 4 books. And people are like, oh, no way. There has to be a shortcut, like, or something you did magically, or there's something extra. There's nothing extra. Nothing extra. I keep it simple. I read these 4 books. They told me what to do. And what I was doing in the beginning was I was the person who's like, I need to jump in this Discord and I need to follow this dude's trades. I need to follow their trades. I need to do this maybe. And every day I was changing what I was doing instead of consistently sticking with one process and just managing my risk, right? Managing my risk. And when it comes to working out, managing your risk, and eating good, managing your risk, just don't go to the McDonald's. Don't go to the McDonald's. That's managing your risk. But when it comes to trading, don't take a risky stock. Okay, that risky stock is McDonald's. That's disgusting. Okay, go get you an Nvidia Schmidia. All right, that's
filet mignon.
That's gonna be that filet mignon. Baby.
Yep. That's that
Wagyu.
That's
they
true.
Got Wagyu here.
You got Wagyu, bro.
They got Wagyu.
Bro. I remember. I went to Thailand. And I was like, y'all got Wagyu, and they're like, yeah, we got Wagyu. And I was like, you know what? This is a great place. But anyways, what I wanted to say is a lot of people will say funny stuff like, oh, you're so lucky to be in Thailand. Or even when I was in Thailand, there was some Americans, some people from like different countries, Denmark and stuff like that. And they're like, dude, you're so lucky. Like you work online. I'm like, no, I'm not, bro. First of all, I've worked more jobs and more hours than most people. Right. And then I was like, you know what I was because in nursing, I actually wanted to help people. I know that's, people are like, there's no fucking way. But seriously, I couldn't get to the root cause, and it used to piss me off, right? Literally, it used to piss me off. I couldn't get to the root cause. We're giving people diabetic medication, but they're drinking soda because their family's bringing it to them. The shit used to stress me out. I was like, dude, this is horrible, right? So then with personal training, I was already doing it in person. I moved it to online. I can help people online, but I could actually change their life. Like, okay, now they're seeing food differently. Now they're actually able to do this long term, right? And I was able to do that. And because I provided value there, and literally at this point helped like tens of thousands of people, it's going to get close to hundreds of thousands because of TikTok and Instagram as well. People message me every day on Instagram, appreciate the messages and stuff, but it's like really changing their lives and stuff like that. And it's very, that inspiration, that ability to actually change, like literally change directions of life. When I say change lives, I'm not being corny, like, oh, change people's life. No, literally someone is on diabetic medication, someone is on high blood pressure medication, boom, they're off of it. And now they're thinking of food differently, passing it down to their kids, their wife, their dad, all that stuff. You know what I mean? So that's what caused it. But also everything I do is with intention. So even though I only take one step forward, I don't take a step back or to the side. So when I take 10 steps, it's forward. When a lot of people take 10 steps, it's 5 forward, 2 back, 1 to the right, 1 to the left, right? Where is that? That's like fucking 3 steps ahead. That's it. And I'm 10 steps ahead. That is the difference between being intentional and not being intentional. Mm-hmm. So what I do, like what they say, the master of all is the master of none, right? And they also say, Bruce Lee said, he fears the guy who did one kick 10,000 times, not the guy who did 10,000 kicks once. That's what it's about. It's about focusing on what works and gives you the highest ROI and then continually doing that. So with fitness, that's all I do. I am not a fitness influencer. I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm not a men's physique competitor, right? Because those dudes are locked in and going to the next level. I don't do CrossFit. They go to the next level. If you are a normal person who wants to be healthy and reduce your body fat percentage, focus on what works. That is going to be strength training to build muscle, which will burn more fat, and then your nutrition. Like that, those 2 things are going to be the most important things. All right. That'll help your sleep, right? That's going to help everything else as well. That's going to help your stress levels too, because you're working out and you're eating what you're supposed to. You're not eating inflammatory foods. You're not eating a bunch of fast food, feeling sluggish and breaking out everywhere. Simple.
It comes down to everything we just talked about. Like this last couple minutes it all comes down to setting standards, right? So when you set standards, it allows you to stick to the script, whether you like it or not. You're sticking to that script. My standard is, hey, every day, 6 a.m. I'm waking up. tired, sad, bloody, muddy, suddy, whatever it is.
Hey, yo.
Hey, yo, you're getting up. You're getting up, right? Because you do it for work, right? 9 a.m. You got to be there. 5 p.m. You got to leave. 9 a.m. We're getting up, or you're getting there, right? Every day. That's setting the standard. And what do? They say, oh, three absences or three tardies from your job. Then you're facing resignation, getting fired. Okay, you're facing getting fired. So do the same thing to yourself. Audit your life. Set those standards in your life. Well, hey, I cheated this one time. I ate the crumble cookie.
Oh boy.
I do that one more time. Hey, baby, nah, that's not the standard. All right, that's not the standard. You got to set those standards in your life when it comes to everything, and you'll see that sometimes cutting off things or cutting off people that can influence those things is the best way to go about it.
Facts. And like, here's the thing, man. Like, when it comes to there's no shortcuts. It's because the thing is, I failed more times than people have tried, which means I've tried like 10 times the amount most people have tried. All right. So yeah, of course, back in the day, I was like, wait, does keto work? Cut out carbs. I was like, fuck no, this shit doesn't work. Right. Doing research, reading about stuff, failing everything, trying CrossFit, trying this, trying that, and then be like, okay, CrossFit works, but that's not what my goals are. I don't have performance goals. I have, health goals, aesthetic goals. That's where my goals are. So let me focus on this, right? So the thing is, a lot of people just don't try enough. It's not that they don't put in the effort enough. It's because, like I said, they're thinking in their old identity, not their new identity. Because once you're in your new identity, for me, if I eat 7,000 calories and have some cookies and have some cake, that doesn't mean I'm a fat ass, because I know I'm the leanest version of myself. I'm gonna get right back on track, right? But if someone has that and they eat that every day, it's normal for them. But then also at the same token, right? I'm using fucking transition words. But on the same note, like, people will eat what I eat in a day and they'll be like, oh, this is so healthy. They'll post it on their story because they're currently operating outside of their identity. So they're celebrating it. I'm not celebrating shit I do every day. All right. So people, like, it's okay when you first start to celebrate, like, okay, I worked out. But you need to expect that of yourself. When something's an expectation, you don't get stop getting excited about that shit. Because people will be like, hey, I worked out 4 weeks straight, man. Oh, I'm like, okay, let me call God real quick, because I have that power apparently, and be like, hey, send him 4 weeks worth of results. Like, no, you're just getting started. The real focus of the fitness journey, and any journey, entrepreneurship journey, if you want to move to Thailand, the moving to Thailand journey, is actually envisioning yourself doing that stuff. All right. Because everyone telling me, oh, you're lucky to be in Thailand. It's like, no, dude. I planned this shit out for 3 years, and it was in my plan. So then I just, once the time came, I looked at the time. I was like, oh, it's the date that I said I would move there. So let me move there, right? Because I aligned it. But most people don't say, hey, I will move to Thailand. They don't say that. They're just like, oh, I wish I was there, right? Wishing isn't going to get you anywhere. I wish I had a good physique. No, you don't, because you eat Wingstop. Like, that shit's just stupid as hell. Or, oh, I wish I got chicks. You have crumbs on your shirt at 3 p.m., bro. And then you come on a Zoom call. This shit's crazy, bro.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. Sticking to your script and just getting after it. Take a piss.
All right, y'all. So the rest of the video is gonna be on Patreon. We're gonna have some some stories, some crazy story. His craziest body game stories, which blows mine out the fucking water. All right, y'all. We're taking a bathroom break, but Patreon is gonna have the rest.
Is there?